house will look nice in my living space.
What's going on, Mr. Team Chat? It's Everyday Galaxy Cat, Mr. Galaxy, back again with another video, and I have to be off center for this. Would you like to be looking at this or this? Actually, that might be a good background now that I think about it. Either way, we're not here to talk about the fact that I really need to get my new room organized, but we're in fact talking about Kamen Rider. And not just any Kamen Rider, but Kamen Rider Zeo, the last Heisei era Kamen Rider, and the one that got me introduced in Kamen Rider. Do not do that! Zeo is an anniversary season. An anniversary season means references to riders like Kiva, Ghost, X-Aid, and Forze, and Decade! I don't have a D-End or Decay driver. And of course, Build. This soda's 2 years old. My point is, do not watch this if this is not your first Heisei era Kamen Rider or Kamen Rider show in general. What I recommend is watch at least a good portion of the Heisei era. I think all of Neo Heisei and its movies should get you caught up on the Heisei era. A little bit sprinkle of Decade here and there. You see, the way I watched it was, I watched Zeo first, a little bit of Kiva, all of X-Aid, a little bit of Gaim, a portion of Double, and then I went back to Zeo knowing everything after watching the movies. So if Zeo is your first Heisei era Kamen Rider, you're gonna be very, very confused. Other than that, let's talk about it. And unlike, Akito, I'm gonna give my thoughts on the first episode without reviewing the first episode. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So sit back, relax, grab a drink, and let's talk about Zeo. So first things first, let's also talk about the good. I really liked the small moments before he became Oma Zeo. Like, each moment was like foreshadowing like his eventual turn to becoming the Demon King himself. The scene where Waj first shows up and he's all like, "It is your destiny to become Oma Zeo. However, beware the red machine." But not gonna lie, pretty cool. That scene implies that Waz knows more than he lets on.
Which is true if you've seen the Overcorzo movie, but that's debatably canon.
The scene where Sogo tries to run away from Gates in his own time machine, that was good. That was like a fun scene. I mean, the CGI is bad, but that's just Rider CGI. It's usually that bad. I really like the scene where Sogo and Tsukuyomi.
Look, all names hard to say, okay? Just bear with me on this one.
We're back in time in earlier era of Japan, and there's like a fight going on, and Tsukuyomi has to make sure that this is the Oma Zeo that she feels to this day, and she's all like, "Ah, knock it off!" pushing Sogo into the fight just to see what he would do. But Sogo, being the wholesome little bean that he is, gets thrown into the river after trying to stop a fight. But the fact that he was all fine, it was like, it was nice and wholesome. And then Gates is walking up like a Chad. Now that was actually a terrifying moment because at this point in time, Sogo does not have the powers of Kamen Rider Zeo. So they're going back and forth, going in between time. And then we go to Build's time, and Kamen Rider Build's a really good show. I really like the scenes where Sogo interacted with Build and Cross, thinking that he's like way into the future, and Sogo's like, "Nah man, I'm from the past." Some good milk. Just the interaction with the Build crew in general, that was just fabulous. The concept of the Time Jackets is interesting to me. I have to explain it with Bakugan. Trust me, it will make a lot more sense if you just watch the show. Or not, so I might as well explain right now. So let's say that this right here is Marshadow. He is, Kamen Rider Build. Let's make him Kamen Rider Build in this case. He fights, he saves the day, he stopped Evo from destroying his world, he created another world entirely, and then all of a sudden, a Time Jacket goes back in time, makes a deal with some random dude in time, and making him another Marshadow. Thus, Marshadow's powers are not only stolen from him, but the entire history of Marshadow is now in another Marshadow. Get what I mean? Confusing? Don't worry, it all is. But I love the idea of the Time Jackers going back in time, stealing Rider history, and inserting it into another new Rider. When that kid was about to be crashed into, one of the Time Jackers made him another build. I love how another build turned like a couple people into Smashful bottles, and determining which one of them is a best match. Honestly, Another Build was really cool. One thing I don't get though is, Another Build was created in 2017, yet he appears in 2018, and we'll get to that in the bad part of the section of the video. But he just shows up, and Sogo just tries to attack him, and the Ride Watch appears, like, you know, starts activating and then he transforms into Zeo. I really love the scene where Waz was like, here you are, Wagamo. And the scene where he henches the first time is amazing. For those of you who don't know how the Ziku driver works, this is it right here. And the Ziku driver requires Ride Watches to use. And we're about to get into like why the Ziku driver is really awesome. So you place the Ride Watch either Zeo, Gate, Tsukiyomi, or Waz. Ooh! I did say this was a spoiler review. You put the Ride Watch in here, you push this button, and then that done, heckin' Ziku driver do a spin. Basically in a nutshell. I loved how the entire screen just spun, but Sogo stayed. That was amazing. The henshin sequence is alright though. One thing I do love is the fact that the face place just smacks right into your face. Like me lightly slapping against my face with my hand. Ow! Why do I keep doing that to myself? And when he henshins, you don't get this triumphant feeling like you do in X8 or Build or Double or Kuga or all the other old Heisei riders. You get this feeling of dread because this is his first leap. Oh no. Of him becoming the Demon King of Time, Omazeo. One thing I do like is that Gates also henshins into, well, he henshined before, but that was off screen, but he henshins like on screen right now, and he has this weird, eerie, standby heartbeat noise. And it seems just awesome. This is so cool. Strangely enough, he's the first one to use armor time. If you've been paying attention to my... then you know that there's another slot light here. What's that for? It's for Ride Watches, of course. Since the only other Ride Watch I have is... I'm gonna have to demonstrate with a slightly more epic Ride Watch. But they are basically the same size as the Zeo Ride Watch, it's just it has like a different color and faceplate. So basically what you would do is you would put the Ride Watch on the other side, and then you would do that done spin again. And what I didn't mention is that it shows out the date right here, but it's just going to show Rider since this is like a movie exclusive Rider. And yeah. This is why I need more Ride Watches for demonstration. So basically armor time is like using the powers of the previous riders. In this case he's using Kamen Rider Ghost power, and the legendary ghosts come out of the icons on his shoulders, and that's when the episode ends. But it looks so cool, that scene looks so cool. Now I'm speaking pretty positively about Zeo, so what's the problem about it? I really like Zeo. But of course, not everything is perfect. When there's a good, there's always a bad. I don't care what you say, this is one of my favorite props. So let's go from good to evil and talk about the bad of Zeo. First off, the way the show starts, it's really cool. Until you realize that it's Tsukiyomi like playing a scene that for Tsusogo. Here's the thing, we see a slightly shorter version of that scene later on in the episode, but why play it at the first minute of the show? The scene with the Omazeo destroying the world, yeah, that's fine. Just leave out the part where she's like, that is you. You will become the Demon King of Time. Oh my, I need to step out for a minute. Again, we see a shorter version of that scene, and just move that entire scene to the middle point. Just cut out the beginning of Omazeo. Or if you're gonna have that scene, just have her talk over it. Another thing I don't get is that guy that saves Tsukiyomi at the beginning of the show. Now, first time watching it, I thought he was very important. Like, he looked like somebody that could do something very important. He's a nobody! He literally does nothing but save someone and die. In other words, he is a goner. Woo! But he still does nothing in the show. It makes no sense. Another thing that I don't like is this Waz just appears out of nowhere. He doesn't have his own time machine. It's implied that he does, but we never see it unless you count something later on in the episode. But that's another universe Waz. White Waz. Again, makes sense if you watch the show. And I don't like the fact that we were in the Jurassic or Triassic period, whatever period it was. I don't like the fact that we're at that period, both beginning and near the end. I understand that she was trying to run away from Gates, but couldn't you go somewhere safer, like Forze's time period in 2012 or Kuga's time period in 2000? What about Agito's in 2001? Maybe Doubles in 2009? Like a time period more safer than freaking dinosaurs. I mean, how would you feel if a dinosaur appeared out of nowhere and starts devouring you? I'm just saying, we never go back to the dinosaur period. Once. Not even once. And here's the thing, Gates' motivation. Like, we don't understand why he's trying to kill Omaz. Actually, we somewhat know why he's trying to kill Omazeo. Because, beginning of the show, he kills anyone! But he goes back in time to try to kill Tokyo Sogo. And he still does that. And don't get me wrong, that's a good motivation, but I feel like it could have been executed a bit more. But then again, I'm someone who likes Ghost. And no one likes Kamen Rider Ghost. The pacing for when Sogo turned into Zio to build to Gates, I feel like that was a bit too fast. Like, we literally went from Rejoice! Oh, was he? Oh, look, I guess! So, okay, he's defeated. Oh, okay, Gates is here. And then it turns out he has the Ghost Ride watch, and we do not know where that comes from. We later on learn the show that he stole from Omazeo, but how? Omazeo's the Demon King of Time, the power of every single rider known in history. There's no way he would win against Zio at that point in time. Because again, Miss will snap his fingers and then he'll be done. Finito, dead. How did he get the red watches? I'm pretty sure that one might be nitpicking. Also, Nuken helmets are going to be very confusing if you never watched a Kamen Rider show before. Like, main Rider was like building cross-rope out of freaking nowhere. And that's where I go, It's build! It's build! Like, I'm obviously going to know who Build is, but is my cat going to know what Build is?
Hey, do you know what Build is?
That's what I thought. This is a show more for Kamen Rider fans and not for newcomers. So overall, do I think Zio is a bad show? No. If it wasn't obvious enough, I love Zio, and that, I love Zio. But again, I loved it when I learned more about the Kamen Rider history. Before, I was just a newbie, but now, I mean, it's safe to say that I'm no longer a newbie anymore. I recommend you watch this show after you watch the Neo Heisei era, starting from Double Eddie with Zio, and some of the crossover movies, so you get a general idea of what the characters' personalities, relationships are, and most importantly, powers. I mean, I say the word Fruit Jesus, and people would be like, huh? But Kamen Rider would be like, oh yeah, that's Guy! Also, when I say, hey boy, people are gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? The Kamen Rider was gonna be like, oh, and say some random text from Walt. The point is, it's a Kamen Rider show, not a new show. But I was literally a new guy, and I didn't watch it for a while until I finished X-Aid and all the stuff that I said at the beginning of the video. And now I have one of my favorite, if not my most favorite drivers ever. But until next time, that's gonna be it. Let me know if you want me to do more of these, talking to you about my thoughts on a show that's airs in Japan. A lot of people liked the Agito video. It did really good for a small channel standards. And I want to do more stuff like this, you know, in between my Let's Plays and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this saw, let me know in the comment down below. I'll send that like button to another dimension. Whoo, it's been a while since I said that. I'm Mr. Gonzo, the Guy's Cat, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, members of Team Shadow. Please remember to stay catty, live life your own way, stay safe during these trying times, and I'll see you all
In the castle.
Adieu! I need to get new batteries for my Gates Majesty Ride watch.